Okay, there we go. We should be good. So, I am probably in the next. Actually, we're gonna turn on the game a little bit. In the next, I'd say, hour or so, I'm gonna do the voiceover for the first video that I will have done in a while on the main channel, and I'm just waiting for people to kind of go to bed and quiet down. I've got family over, so there's kids, you know. Also, apologies if my voice sounds a little different because I got absolutely hammered by the disease of unknown origin, you know. That really got me good, and I'm still recovering from that, so I'm a bit congested. But it is what it is. So anyway, I'm getting ready to record this other video, and I think I'm going to do this video first, and this is going to be for the second channel. I'm thinking about redoing that channel and redoing its purpose. Boy, can you stop flinching? Cheers. And these types of videos are going to be a lot longer. They're not going to be as edited or as formal. I have no script. I'm just going to, you know, say what I want to say. And this video, I want to talk about the state of the game, and more specifically, the state of my friendships in the game. So, I think the video title is going to be something like "All My Friends Have Stopped Playing Destiny," and honestly, that really is the case. It really is. You know, there was a time back in the day, and we'd be doing raids all the time. Raids, Crucible, you name it. It'd be great. There was once a time when we nearly had too many people to do raids. We nearly needed 2 different teams. Well, those glory days have long since passed, unfortunately. And now, I have to kind of struggle and beg to get a raid going. And it's just because nobody cares. At the end of the day, the game is... It's not in the worst state it's ever been, because that was Beyond Light. But it's not in a good place. It really isn't. And, you know, I think... I don't know if I'm in the minority or the majority. I feel like there are 2 strong groups out there of people that play this game. Yeah, well, I mean, you've got the haters, right, on the one side. And, you know, you can be a hater and still be addicted to this game. I think that's fair enough to say. But, they hate the game, they hate Bungie, and, they just wish Activision was still here. And, you know, there might be some truth to some of their opinions, but they kind of tend to go a bit too far into it. And the game will probably never meet their standard of what good is, you know? And then, on the other hand, you've got the Bungie apologists, you've got the fanboys, and these guys, they love the game. You know, they grind not guided games. That's the one thing they don't do. They grind Guardian games every single time it comes out, and they do all the different events, and they love the game. They play all 3 characters, having a blast. They do every different type of content in the game, whether it rewards them or not. They just love the game, they have fun. Some of them, maybe they have friends and maybe they don't. But Bungie can do nothing wrong. Well, I'm in the middle, right? I'm probably a little closer to a hater, but I'm not toxic, right? That's the one thing that I am not. I am not a toxic person. I really am not. I try to be understanding. And at the same time, that's just not the kind of guy I am, right? Oh, I just got absolutely debated. And my opinion is that with Witch Queen, I think Witch Queen is a very good DLC, but it suffers from very poor game design. And I think that is why everybody's left. Yeah, the boys are whispering at me. Yep. Just taking a look at these guys here. You know, maybe I'll just talk a little bit about these guys. So I'm beginning to wonder if I'm I'm trying to figure out what these guys are supposed to represent, you know? I definitely, there are some people that believe that they're supposed to represent chess pieces. I definitely do not believe that. This statue here, guy seems to be looking up, has his arm up. Looks a bit like he's afraid, shielding himself or something like that. I have no idea what this guy's doing. This guy, I always kind of imagine that he was like grappling or pushing something. Or leaning against something, you know? And then these are just completely broken. Also, you probably won't be able to hear it in this video, but there are growling noises that can be heard from the statues. Very interesting. And again, we've got similar things. And then there's a horse there, which... I mean, the horse, its position, the way it's reared up, it can be a representation of a time of war, you know? Or, you know, something's happened and the horse is afraid. That's kind of... I feel like these are the two different ways that this can go. There's a time of war, and so there's conflict. Or it's a time of calamity, time of disaster, and there's a lot of fear, and that's what this is supposed to represent. I think that's the one of two ways it's going to go. But anyway, I talked about bad game design. And I think it's been executed very well on Bungie's part. But I think it's very bad for... Well, I'm not going to say the player base. I'm just going to say that the type of... the category of the player base that myself and my friends fall into. Because, of course, you've got people that... they'll say the game's never been better, you know? But my boys and I were not in that group. And maybe if you're watching this, you'll also fall into that. Maybe you won't. I think it's fine either way. I don't think this game is objectively bad like it used to be. Look at that. They gave us the bridge. That's very kind of them. I'm a bit suspicious about the shape of this pattern here. These things. I've seen them a few places now. You know, people... I have a feeling, right, that I have to be really careful what I talk about. Listen, I look into everything, right? For any kind of link to any type of story relevance. And I do feel like on some places, especially Reddit, people might think I'm crazy or that I'm a bit, you know. But, you know, it's one of those things where you gotta look at everything, man. You gotta look at everything. The most important thing is that you need to be willing to accept that you could be wrong or that it could be nothing. But if you can do that, then I think it's really important that you do look at everything, you know? Anyway, so why do I think that the game is suffering from bad design? Well, I think it all goes back, right, to the lack of a Destiny 3. And I'm not going to say whether or not we should have had a Destiny 3, because that's a whole different argument. But I think it's safe to say, though, and I think it's fair, that Bungie was unable to make a Destiny 3. Whether they should or should not have made a Destiny 3, I think it's irrelevant. I don't think they could have. Because, I mean, a lot of Destiny 2 came from other companies. And their help from Activision. Now, after Forsaken was released, Bungie's immediate focus was supposed to be on Destiny 3. That was, you know, their contract. And it was as a result of Forsaken that Activision dumped Bungie, because according to Activision, this is the official statement, maybe there were other reasons that I don't know about, but Activision was not happy with the sales of Forsaken. They didn't see it as, I guess, a viable whatever. So they leave Bungie. Bungie gets all the rights to Destiny. Well, all of a sudden now they have these beginnings of Destiny 3 and no other companies to help them work on them. They can't do that. And I think it's at that moment where they begin to change their plan to creating the Destiny 2 that we have now. The continuing forever game, basically. And I do believe that Shadowkeep was supposed to be like a kind of a transition DLC that allowed them to kind of, you know, make more progress in that direction. And from that, we got the seasonal model, right? Now, I have nothing against the seasonal model. I think the seasonal model, if the seasonal model's done anything really well, I think that it has solved the problem of our games and our franchises' infamous tendencies for content droughts. I feel like, myself included, I'll be the first to admit this, I think a lot of Destiny 1 veterans have kind of forgotten how bad the content droughts used to be back in the day. And I think that the seasonal model has really helped to make sure we never find ourselves in a situation like that again. Here's my issue with the seasonal model, and here is my friend's issue with the seasonal model. You know, back during Forsaken, and I include the following follow-up, I guess you could say, mini expansions like Black Armory and Season of Opulence and stuff like that. We got things like Reckoning, Menagerie, and Gambit Prime, Forges, Raids. These are long-term activities. This is long-term content. This is designed to be here for a while. There's a lot of replayability, a lot of staying power. We're talking about, you know, you take something like Menagerie, it's very easy to make that a type of content or an activity that'll last for the entire game's lifespan if you keep adding gear to it. Well, with the introduction of sunsetting and vaulting, they can no longer make content like that. And so now with what you'll see with Seasons is that although the idea of Seasons might be good, the type of content that we're getting in Seasons are not, in terms of what the design is. We are playing a fast food game, my friends, where content is designed to be removed. It's designed to be enjoyed at the moment, but it's designed to be easily removed, where it's not too integrated into the game. You know? And I think Beyond Light's release was a very good example of that. Back in the day, when they first announced that they were making these changes, I made a forum post, and I basically said, prepare yourselves for the greatest content drought in Destiny history. I said that. I made that post. Made it to the top of the Bungie forums, and I had a lot of, back and forth. I'd say overall people agreed with me. And, of course, that ended up being the case. And I think a lot of that was because the type of content that was removed, it wasn't designed to be removed. It was very much ingrained in the end game experience and just in the world experience. Well, the content that we have now in Seasons, that's not designed that way, right? Nobody's crying over the Season of the Splicer activities going away. Nobody's really missing some of the other stuff that's gone, right? Because it was never intended to be that intrusive. It was never intended to be that ingrained. So now we're at a point in the game where a season comes out, and either you enjoy the fast food light activities or you don't, right? And so now with Season of the Risen as an example, right? It's already a very bare bones season. My one friend has famously repeated to us the fact that it's a 3-week long season, in the sense that the story was done in 3 weeks. And I have absolutely no reason to give a crap about any of the seasonal activities. I don't even remember what the PsyOps? Is that what they're called? Or is that the is that what the no, it's PsyOps is the seasonal activity, correct? Yeah, I don't care. I go to my friends on Discord and I say, "Hey guys, you want to do the seasonal activity?" Like, why? What do I get out of it? Why do I care? And so now we're left here just waiting, right? My friends absolutely grinded this game when Witch Queen came out. They got max light level super quick, maxed out their gear, grinding Grandmasters. They were getting their god rolls, the things that they've always been grinding for in this game. That's a cheeky army there. It reminds me, I think, is it in China? I think it might be in China. It's a very similar thing. It's like the king and his warriors or something like that. And there's, I don't know, you can really see it, but there's a really big boy statue way out there in the distance, and I'll show you exactly what the statue is of later on. We never really see this again either. This seems to be unique. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'll show you if I can what the statue is of. Anyway, wait, is that? 1 second. Okay, I thought they were gardener statues, but they're not. Okay. So all that's left really for my friends and I, it's the raid. Now, I love the raid, right? There are things that I really don't like about the raid, but the gear mainly, but I really want the glaive. I don't have the glaive, and although the exotic weapon isn't good, I don't have that, and so I'd like to get that. And I've never really done it on my other characters, like my Titan and my Warlock, so I'd like to get some of the gear looks good on them, so I'd like to get some of that. And my friends just can't be bothered. There's like I don't know really what it is. Nice. The effort in actually playing the game. And what I think is happening is I think this game is, it's not the exact same, don't get me wrong. And I honestly could make a completely separate video on this, but a bit overkill, I know. It's very similar to Warframe, where I log into Warframe and I love the game, I want to play the game, and I log in and I just sit in my ship and I go, okay, now what? It's the exact same with this. Once you have max light level, there's no reason to play Crucible unless it's for the fun of it, and nobody plays Gambit for fun, and strikes I absolutely despise. And I attribute this feeling to game design. And, you know, this was really bad for me. So before Witch Queen came out, I was really the only person in the friend group that was suffering from this. I think maybe, I don't know what it was. I think it was because there were more seasons that were out, so I guess there was a little bit more content overall to do. But we were having this debate, and you know what? The one point that got brought up by the one guy was that, well, you just need to change how you have fun in the game. That's your problem. It's like, okay. Listen, I've been playing this game since D1. I've seen many different versions of this franchise's history, right? And I'm not trying to say that we should go back to D1. I'm not saying that we should, you know. What I'm trying to say is, right, with my experience having played the game throughout its different versions, I know what versions of the game have been fun, and I know what versions of the game have not been fun. And as much as I have fun playing this game currently, a lot of this content has been designed to be thrown away after a few tries. And so I don't have fun with it. That content specifically. And so with my friends who play the game more than I do, they have nothing to do in this game. They've absolutely, let's look at the map, right? Once you're done with the legendary campaign, you're done with the legendary campaign. There's no point to do it unless you're helping your friend. Unless you're 100,000 or better, never did this. Don't care. Don't care, because I was looking for pinnacles. I only did this for the exotic glaives. I have literally no reason to ever do this. Unless I'm going for pinnacle gear, no reason, or the exotic, I have no reason to ever do this. Unless I'm going for pinnacle gear, I have no reason to ever do this. And so, once you... And I can get to this point where all this content is useless if I just, like, play Crucible a few times a week. All of this content is completely irrelevant for me and my friends. Raid is still relevant though. Europa, completely useless. Beyond Light's greatest sin was that it didn't serve its purpose narratively, but at the same time, Beyond Light had absolutely no effect on the rest of the game apart from removing elements of it. Europa is completely isolated. There is no reason to do anything on Europa unless you're doing completionist content or unless the Nightfall is on there. And of course, like the raids are, it's different. But again, the raid doesn't give you a pinnacle at the moment. Moon, irrelevant. Nothing worth doing here unless you're doing completionist content or the Nightfall is there, or you want to get stuff from the raid. But again, no pinnacles. EDZ, irrelevant. Same things as before. Cosmodrome, irrelevant. Same things. Irrelevant. Maybe not as much. There's, but again, this was completely tied to an event that's several months old now. Most people grinded that religiously when it first came out, like me, so I have no reason to really do any of this. And so we're at the point now where you log into the game, and unless you're on the pinnacle grind, what is there to do apart from completionist content? There's nothing. Not really. And by the way, if I'm saying things and they're completely untrue, I do apologize for that because, again, I have no script. This is just me, And I'm sick. Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing you later on. Actually, yeah, is your man here? I'll show you the guy. Wow, he's not here. Really? I'm shocked. When I'm done this mission, I will take you... I still need to figure out what these guys are, to be honest with you. Oh, here he is. Here he is. It's this guy here. That big statue is this guy. I need to figure out what this is. And as you can see, that's his hair. There. Eye. Nose. Yeah. That's what the video is going to be about in like an hour or so. Okay, let's continue on. So what do you do then, right? If you're like me or my friends and we don't have anything to do? Well, we do the raid whenever we could be bothered to do it. And unless there's some completionist content that you want to do, which you can mainly just do solo, you don't need to be with a friend group to do. You just wait 3 months. And, I'm sure some people watching this might go and say, well, it's okay to not play the game. Yeah, but I don't think that I don't really see this as like Final Fantasy 14, where the devs are like, oh yeah, we don't care if you play our game or not. I've always felt like Bungie wants you to play the game, right? To be honest with you, that's the majority of my rant done. I think for me, the glory days were really back in Forsaken. Even Shadowkeep, the glory days were just until they vaulted everything. Unless like it's 10 out of 10 shocking and amazing content, I'm gonna find it very hard to play this game. If post Final Shape content is them just reissuing vaulted content, I'm gonna find it really hard. If they release their Matter game and then they start releasing, vaulted content, I'm gonna find it really hard. But hopefully that's not the case. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm diseased. I'm dying. I'm just gonna try and finish this up. I am curious as to whether or not this type of content is going to be popular at all or not. I don't think it's going to be... I think purely because of the fact that it's on my second channel, I doubt it's going to do that well. I don't care too much. This is more personality content, honestly. I guess you're watching this mainly because you want my opinion on things, or you just like hearing my diseased voice. But no, I do have these opinions, and I don't mind sharing them. I don't think I'm toxic anyway. And I think ultimately, right, for this game, at the moment, in order to really have fun, it depends a lot on what you want from the game as a gamer. And for me, this game has always allowed me to purely grind for like the best things possible, right? So, for example, I am doing this activity. Okay, why am I doing this activity? Because I want to get my light level up. Why do you care about getting your light level up? Because I want to be able to do this raid that I can only do with a high enough light level. Well, why do you care about doing the raid? Well, because I get really sick guns from the raid. You know? And then with, like, for example, one thing that I think will always be valuable for me is going flawless in trials. Because that's a competitive experience, and for me, beating people is its own reward, like half the time. I don't know, I don't go flawless that often. I go luckily, there we go. I get lucky if I go flawless once a week. I haven't gone flawless in like 2 weeks, I'd say. But other types of content like strikes and gambit and seasonal activities, you gotta give me a valid reason to do it. Now maybe Bungie will figure this out, but at the moment anyway, I think it's... To a true oasis. The truth. Reveal it. Yeah, it's definitely in English. Maybe the next video I'll do will be about Pyramid Ship Whispers. I have a lot of explaining to do. I really do. But... yeah, video's gonna be 30 minutes. Anyways, I'm not gonna drag it out, right? I'm not gonna drag it out. I think I've said my piece. If you agree with it, cool. If you want me to elaborate on anything, if I kind of just didn't, you know, do a good job, just let me know and maybe I can talk more about it in a follow-up. If you disagreed with me, that's cool. Listen, I never said that the game is bad. Never said that. I said that it suffers, the seasonal model suffers from bad game design, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean that everybody is leaving the game and nobody enjoys it. You know, I follow this game's population numbers for PC. It's doing pretty good, man. Pretty solid, you know, pretty stable. Ultimately, Bungie has a good thing going. They're making good money, and it's fine. It's just that I am in a position now where none of my friends want to play the game with me because they've done everything, and I don't think that's very good. I don't think it's very good at all. But anyway, those are just my thoughts on that. Let me know if you agreed or disagreed, and yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Bye-bye.